What up, guys? This is my second episode of the podcast. I was gonna have a different one, but I ended up sending DR a message late night the other night before I was coming up here to teach some clinics at Manzanita, and it worked out a lot better than I thought. I came out and checked out his league. It was honestly really, really cool to see, and the Napa scene is really, really awesome. And it was something different, and I think the league stuff he does is awesome. So it's something that I've wanted to do, or even, like I said, speak to schools, being in front of kids, all that type of stuff. So yeah, this is pretty crazy to me. If you guys don't know, he is the 2008 Olympic bronze medalist, multiple world champ. He's the only junior men cruiser champ, right? There's only one, or is there more?
No, there's more.
Okay, I think I'd never seen that until I saw you had it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely multiple. There's many.
Crazy. Okay, well, I just got schooled. I got to learn myself. But yeah, he has crazy accolades. He's a cool dude, and this is honestly the first time we interacted, and he's honestly really, really cool. And he agreed to be on my show, my podcast, whatever it is. And yeah, but before we start, I have one story that I've heard over the last couple years, and it's something that I feel similar with, and I think it's super cool, so I want to hear it. It's from the 2009 Worlds. I heard you funded yourself, and then obviously you won, and you were riding back to the hotel, and like they just asked you if you wanted to ride, and like you were just, oh no, I'm good, and you just didn't care about anything, and you won. But that's what I've heard, so I want to hear like that story.
So here I am, poser in my uniform still, because that's how I roll. And BMXers at Chipotle doing our thing. Yes, that's true. World Championship 2009, it was unbelievable. We just came out of the Olympic cycle, right, with Mikey and I, and Jill got medals and everything. And 2009 was looked at by USAC as like a rebuilding year. Like, let's get the new blood in there and let's fund them and do their thing. So they did not fund me, and I don't believe anybody else, to at least the Olympians, to the World Championships in Adelaide, Australia. And we had went there the year prior. I believe David Herminator, won that World Cup event. And so we stayed at the Hilton, and it was just a perfect, like, it was just great. You just love like the scene, right? And so, and it was very near the track. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be by myself, I'm gonna stay at the place that I know and was super happy with. So I stayed at the Hilton, and I would ride back and forth to the track every day by myself. I would go out and do, plyos, all this stuff during the week that I was there, type thing. And I never really did well at World Championships. Even like in my prime, like 2006 or 7, like I'd be national champion or win, some races and everything. I would never really put it together at the Worlds. I would always do well, get the semi, get the main or whatever, but I'd be, fourth or whatever. I got fourth in 2008. Didn't make the main in 2007. 2006 I won Elite Cruiser, which, whatever.
That's pretty cool.
But it never really clicked, like, in Elite. And so it kind of went the same path in Adelaide. Practice was terrible. Motos, I would get like third and fourth. Like, I barely made the 8s. I think we had 8s. Barely made the 8s. But after I got to the 8s, for some like weird reason, it just started clicking. And I won the 8s, right? 8s, quarters, semis, main. Like, boom, four laps in a row. Just banged them off. And it was like the visualization that us racers do prior to the event is absolutely crucial, right? Because if you can't see it in your mind first, you're not going to do it on the track. And I would go through my lap hundreds of times over the course of the week. And that main event was exactly, except for the third straight bobble, it was exactly what I envisioned. And I crossed the line, and like, you'll notice, like, whenever I won, I never did a fist pump, like, and I despise the fist pump a little bit, because it's like bragging, like, yeah, I won type thing. I get everybody's different, but like, I will never do a fist pump. And I didn't there, but like, you'll notice in Adelaide, like, I dropped my head as I came across the finish line, because I was in utter disbelief that lap happened. Like, I could not believe that actually like came true. And it's true, like, when you win Worlds, like, you're the it guy, and and I was going to do the same thing that I had done all week, and that was go back to the hotel by myself with my backpack on my back, helmet on the bars, whatever. I was going to ride back, and it was it's a special time that I might tear up right now, because like I had this new CD. Like I listen to Christian stuff almost exclusively, like when I'm on airplanes, and I had this new CD and had this new song that had just like connected with me on the way over. And so it was like my song all week. And I listened to that song on the way back as I rode from the track to the hotel, bawling my eyes out, just like in utter like gratefulness that like that had happened, because very few people get a chance to win a national, let alone a World Cup or World Championship. And yeah, I rode back to the hotel. The it guy, everyone was like, hey, let's go out to dinner, let's do our thing. And yes, I went to USAC. My agent was actually there. Yeah, it was a pretty wild ride, but I certainly remembered that nobody really helped get me to that race. Like I paid for it on my own, and I was going to enjoy it by myself. But there were definitely some friends that were along with the ride, and I got to spend it there too. So it was that was the last win that I ever had. Luckily, it was a world championship. So
that's definitely not a bad win to end off on. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I wanted to start with for sure. I've been wanting to just hear about that, and let's just start with a few basics. Obviously, you're from
Napa, California, born and raised. This is where I started racing. Six years old.
6 years old. Did you ever take any breaks, or did you stay just riding the whole time? And when did you know you wanted to become a pro or really do this to where you've been?
I mean, so I did gymnastics in the beginning as well, alongside BMX. I liked it. I was pretty good. I'm always fit. Like my mom is a rock star, and so I was following in her footsteps, kind of thing. My dad promoted speedway racing. He did a lot of motorcycle stuff, and so his plan was to get me into BMX to transition me into motorcycles. It never happened. You know, I'm short, so I'm not going to fit in really anywhere else. I'm not going to get picked for teams type thing. I'm going to stick with a sport that I can go out and do at my own pace. And I am uber competitive, and so when you find something that you love, you need to be the best at it. And I didn't want to let anything discourage me. Not that it wasn't, you know, hard sometimes, and there were very few times over the course of my amateur career where I was wanting to hang it up. And it was the times where, you know, you'd get in a fight with your dad about training or pre-race or something like that. But this was my everything. I wanted to be the best at the thing that I loved the most, and I didn't want to let anything stop me. Not that it was easy at times, but it was, I put all my eggs in this basket.
As you can see, it paid off pretty well. As an amateur, I mean, I was probably not even born, or I was a youngin', but as an amateur, did you win any titles, or did you win any big races, or leading up to before you were pro?
I was decent, yeah. But I was more known for my jumping ability. I was like the guy that the pros were behind the gate watching. Like I was the 10X that the pros were behind the gate, and it was cool to hear, you know, that a Gary Ellis or a Charles Townsend, or like those guys like wanted to watch me race, because I was fearless, never gave up type thing. I won my first grands when I was 8 on cruiser, 10 on cruiser. Won my first 20-inch grands when I was 13. I don't think I won anything else until I was 16. I had another good race. Corky Gainsford actually just posted it on Facebook today of my World Cup win against Jason Ream. So World Cup, it was like the ABA version of the World Championships type thing.
Like Ontario?
Yes, but it was before that. It was in '95. So it was that type of World Cup. And so that was a big win for me. So like I had enough results and enough popularity to have the best sponsorship that I could ever have hoped for. Didn't have to pay a dime to travel around the country from the time I was 12 until the time I turned pro. And so it was doing the right thing at the right time with the right people watching, and being involved with having the best parents, and then getting involved with the right people in the sport to shape you. Biggie with Powerlight, I owe my life to him. He gave me the opportunity to take it to that next level on the track and help me become a better person off the track. So that's awesome.
So I know some struggles as like a lot of people thought you were small, like you said, other sports, but how was it for some of these other dudes that are coming up and they're struggling with thinking they're smaller? Because there is some big amateurs, like you loaded, there's a kid that's 4'1", and then there's a 6'1" 13-year-old, and like even lining up next to Mikey, KB, these Maris, just people that were so much bigger, and just obviously even just looking, they would probably think they're better there or whatever. How was like getting over that, or being able to not even care about any of that and obviously pursuing to where you've gotten?
It was a ton of tears, a ton of like, what if I can't do this? What if everybody's right? What if it can't be done? Because prior to me, I was told that there was like one small kid that was kind of the it guy, the it kid, the it amateur, Shea Pierce, and he was from the area too. And I don't really remember him because I was so young, but he was like super small, super talented, but he never made it like into the teenage years, and he just quit. And so I didn't have anybody before me that I knew of that I could look at and be like, oh, it's possible, right? All I heard of was people saying it's not possible because you're so small. It's like, this is the big guy sport. You're gonna get pushed around. If you make it an amateur, the guys that make money aren't gonna let you take their money. Thing. It was just determination. Like I was fearless. I was pretty skillful, but it was the determination not to give up, to do whatever you had to do. The hating my dad sometimes because he made me go out and do grass sprints and hill sprints. And like we were talking earlier, you got to have somebody force you to do something, to teach you how to do it, to show you that you've got to be in pain to get the results. And it's hard for people to see the need to keep going when you don't know why you're doing it. Like when you get that first taste of victory, or that taste of, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this is why it's going to pay off. Like that's everything. And I had just enough of those to keep me going through the years. If you keep having failure, injury, like it's hard to stick with it, because like why? But I had just enough of those little successes to be like, okay, I want more, I want the next. I have to put in double time, triple time now, because I can't rest on my laurels. I can't rely on my skills. Like these guys who didn't have to train when they were 12 or 13 because they were gigantic and they were going through puberty, like they had all the muscle. I didn't. I had to use my smarts. I had to make the passes and fit into spots on the track that they couldn't. And I would show up all the time.
If you're hearing that and you're struggling with some of that stuff, that is probably the best advice you're gonna get, because he's done what you probably want to do. So that's really cool, because a lot of people doubt. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're small, or if you don't have the best gait, or you don't have something. There's always ways to make way to obviously pursue what you want to do. So that's really cool.
And the tough lesson of the day is you can quit and nobody's gonna care. Like you can decide, hey, I want to throw in the towel. I can't do it, and 0 people are gonna care, except for you in the years down the road when you say, what if? Like, what if I'd have stuck with it 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? And I see it today, right? Like, I have people that I was amateur with going, oh, I used to beat Donny back then. Had I stuck in the sport, I'd have been an Olympian. I'd been like, no. You quit early on, like, and that was only the trial that you were going through at that time. Like, you've got to come past all of this adversity, and I no what ifs, no regrets. Just stick with it, because the people who love this sport know why we're doing it, and there's nothing better to get the success at the thing that you love most.
That's free game. You can't buy that. That's something I just took in myself. So that is really the truth.
Oh, and this man bought me lunch today too. So it's the least I can do. If there's anything, he is very thankful for him buying me lunch.
But so let's start back a little bit. So let's say you're racing the USA BMX series or ABA BMX series, obviously NBL, the different types of races. When did you find out it was going to be towards the Olympics, and then thinking about, I have a shot at doing something like that?
Going back further, right? Like amateur, you would check off all these boxes, and you would get to this point where you're like, okay, I'm NAG 1, or I'm winning grands, and then it's like, well, when do I turn pro? Does it make sense to? Do I have any support? Like, why am I doing it? And I finally made the jump after I doubled at the World Championships. I was the first one to win junior cruiser and junior men in the same year. I think, gosh, who did it? Archers Matheson's, I think, did it
really?
after me. Yeah, I think he was the second one, but I don't believe that anybody did it prior to me.
I think that guy's the only one that jumped the triple I tried.
Okay.
2 people.
Okay.
That's funny.
And so I think he did it, but it was at that point I was like, okay, like what else do I have to do?
Yeah.
Like I had already won the Grands, I've already been NAG 1, just got world champion. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
It was the time where I did not have the Powerlight sponsorship. It was like, all right, that company's going out, and so now I'm going to be like, all right, I'm turning pro, and I've got to go out on my own, and I hustled big time. I was, if not the first, like one of the first people sponsored by Fly Racing. I got my first deal with Fly Racing, $400 a month, and I remember going to Interbike and Terry Baisley. Oh my gosh, it was great. You have that support, the people that believe in you. I shoestringed that budget, and I think I made $12,000 a year that first year as pro, and it was all hustle. And it was the same thing, right? Like now I've got a chance I'm not going to college, okay? I went to junior college for a semester. I said, if this is my time to shine or not. Like, I can always go back to college. I want to be the best pro. I'm gonna go all in. And I did that. And it was so very hard the first few years because these guys, right, making 6 figures and, 215 pounds, and my idols, my heroes, like I'm racing against these guys, John Purse, all these fantastic racers, did not make it easy for me. And then again, like you put the work in, stay consistent, and then all of a sudden it clicks. And luckily it started to click enough at the time where they said, hey, we might be in the Olympics, and we didn't know.
Was it like a big? They posted it, or was it like it went from word to word?
Gosh,
and you're
man,
like,
yeah, I think it was just word of mouth. Like this could happen, this might happen. But it's all about like the next race, right?
Yeah.
You're training for the next race, and you do good at the next race, and that's another trophy or a paycheck or a potential sponsorship, and you start like stringing those together, and then all of a sudden it's okay, world championships or getting funding, or you're at the Olympics. And that was the thing. It was like people were like, oh, do you want to go to the Olympics? Like, I want to do good at the next race.
Yeah.
Right? Where regardless, if Bubba Harris and myself are back east and there's only 4 riders on the gate, like I don't care. I want to win.
Yeah.
I want to show up, and everything will fall into place where it should at the right time. And I tell you, man, like it really did. Like everything happened at the right time just for me, and everything started to click. But yeah, I want to say like 2005-ish is when we started to say, hey, this Olympic thing is going to happen, because that's when Dew Tour and the World Cups and UCI points and everything. And 2006 is the first year that I remember that full 2-race World Cup circuit like UCI. Those points were going towards. I'm pretty sure it was 2 races. I think it was the Dew Tour in San Jose, and then Frejus France. So those were the 2 races.
Oh, didn't Nick win the San Jose?
No, not that one. I think Michael Prokop won that one. And then he and I battled for the spot, and I ended up taking the overall World Cup victory in 2006. So it was cool because it was like, all right, now we're in the Olympics now, like nation points and UCI points, and so I was the special person and got flowers put over me, and I just rode the wave from there.
So you've won a world championship, like you said. You visualized, you were behind the gate, you've had those emotions, those feelings. What would you compare the Olympics to? I mean, obviously you can't compare it to anything, but how was that race day or those race days compared to anything in your career? If you remember.
I will never forget it. It was just, I get nervous at practice, right? Like you want to be the best, you want to get a good gate. It's a different level when you get to a national, at the Grand, just like the hype, the scene, everything, it plays with your mind. Even though you're racing the same dudes on the same bike with the same type of track, it's always a little bit different, and so that visualization and that clarity that you have mentally, to like release that pressure, because everybody's great.
Yeah.
But who can handle the pressure the most to be able to rise to the occasion and do the best that you possibly can? At the Olympics, it was I kind of regret, because the Olympics overall for me like were really a struggle in the beginning, because we have two qualifying days, and the first day I crashed my first moto. The video's out there. I by myself in the rhythm section. I think I was in 3rd place. Bobbled, went off of the track. Oh. There's a picture of me crashing off of the track, just absolutely embarrassing. And I did just well enough to make it back for the second day. And the second day was the semi and the main.
So was that 3 semis?
Yes, so three quarters, okay. 3 semis in the main, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah.
And in the last qualifying race in the semi, first straightaway, I high-sided on Safiso Nolapo's tire, on somebody's tire, and I crashed. And I crashed with like 2 or 3 other dudes, maybe even 4. And my visor, boom, in my face. And I got up, like I knew.
I think I've seen that.
And Jerry Landrum has this picture somewhere, but I've seen it. Second straightaway, I jumped the second. The only thing I didn't jump the berm jump. But the visor was in my face, like I could barely see anything. But had I not gotten like that position or even one behind me, I wouldn't have made the main. Like I was like one of the last 2 people to make the main, and that was I guess more evident in my gate pick, because I think I had like the 6th gate pick.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go Maris and take gate 8. And so that's why I took gate 8 in the main, because I was like, I don't want to get gate 6. And so I took gate 8 in the main, and at that point it was not like I have nothing to lose. I'm already here. Like I should have not made the main in the beginning, but it was more like this is meant to be, right? Yeah. Like I crashed in both of these qualifying days. My jersey's ripped up. Everything is dirty.
Man, that's crazy.
I got a taped up visor.
That's crazy.
And it's kind of like now thinking of me having a taped up visor. Like I would always crash as an amateur on my head. Like I would just concussions all of the time, and I would very rarely not have tape on my helmet. My dad would put tape on to keep my visor up, and so it was fitting that I had tape on my visor in the Olympics.
Dang, that was probably like almost like something that you've had before, like you said. So maybe.
Yeah, and so it was. I remember being in gate 8, like looking, like not wanting to like take in what was happening at the moment. I just got one lap. Dude. Yeah. I got 35 seconds left, and I had went to this. Because I was doing all of these appearances, like I had McDonald's and Hershey's and Kellogg's, like all these sponsors, and I was doing all of these appearances, and I went to this one gig, and this guy was talking, and he was an Olympic gymnast, and he was telling his story about how he had this one last routine that he had to nail, and you know how we have these mantras that we recite like behind the gate, like these superstitions that all of us kind of have. And I never changed anything except for that main event at the Olympics.
Really?
I actually repeated what this guy had said in his presentation. He said, let's do this one more time, and then let's go home. And I was like, this could be my time, right? Like you're either going to remember my name or not, or you're going to get 4th place. And even though I know that Andres Jimenez got 4th place, now nobody really remembers who got 4th place. And people like ask all the time, right? What do you want, a world championship or an Olympic medal? Like Olympic medal all day long, because people know they know Olympics. And luckily I have that thing to as proof, right? Like I did it. Like I thought I could do it. I proved myself right. But on the gate, I said let's do this one more time and let's go home. And I think I flinched a little bit in the gate. It wasn't a great gate. I think I brought my wheel down a little bit just before the kink. Still had a decent first straightaway, tied with the guys, but I was on the outside. And you know, once the gate drops, like everything is blank, just automatic. But man, that feeling that you have behind the gates, always, right? You can never beat that. That's retired people crave that still. But it's something different when you're at an event like a World Championships, like an Olympics, because the atmosphere, the vibe, and then the importance of what you know you're doing at the moment is crazy, and that's what you live for. So,
dang, That is you had a tough Olympics, and for it to come out like that's crazy. Well, you heard during that some of the craziest sponsors you could probably think of, and probably some people never get again in our sport. When did like all that stuff start to come in? Or let's start with, did you reach out to an agent, or did that come to you? And then when you got an agent, did that just instantly start connecting all those sponsors? Or
so I've always been really good with self-promotion and hustle, but there's no way that I could have like got into that realm of corporate sponsorships. So I was sponsored by Formula Bicycles, and it's no secret that they owe me tens of thousands of dollars. They owe me like $60,000 over the course of the few years that I was with them. And the team manager was the guy probably most at fault for owing me this amount of money. And I was certainly not a fan of him at the time for that, but he, I believe, was actually the one that plugged me in to my agent. Oh. And so in hindsight, it's like, okay, you didn't give me this amount of money, but you made me a few $100,000 or whatever. And so you got to look at that, right? The good with the bad. So yeah, this guy plugged me in, somehow did the hustle for me, and got me with Octagon. And so Octagon was Michael Phelps's agency. Oh, dang. And so I was with Michael Phelps's agent, and it was good because like I was the best at the newest Olympic sport with one of the best representation agencies. And so these people like brought it in so quick.
Really?
They were just, well, it's again, like
you said,
I'm the best, I'm an American, it's a new Olympic sport, here we go. And it was just like, I remember being at Fréjus, France, and I was, rooming with Kyle Bennett, and they called me and they were like, boom, you got a Kellogg's deal. It was like crazy. And so like, but people think that these are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's not. I think that Bubba Harris was the first one to get a corporate sponsorship with Visa prior to the Olympics. And so he was really the guy. Yeah. Like he was the best before I was the best, and in the time where we knew that we were going to the Olympics. And so he got Visa, and we were just like kind of game on, like what's going to happen next?
Oh my gosh, Visa.
And so that all started going down. And yeah, it was just kind of wild. Like
everything.
Yeah, like I as I'm doing my league right on the first day, like I would tell them I would go to the McDonald's that's right over here, and I picked up a meal with me on the cup in the bag. Like my quote, my picture jumping on the bike is like wild. That me starting the sport just because I love riding my bike and love competition or whatever would lead to the time where I'm going to McDonald's and I'm on a bag, or I'm going to the grocery store and I see myself on a Kellogg candy or cereal aisle type thing. And so that's why now, like I coined the phrase, how far can two wheels take you? Like it's not just around the block or around the track. Like this literally takes us around the world and gives us these opportunities, so long as you stick around long enough to hopefully see it through.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what it'd be like. I mean, I don't really eat McDonald's too much anymore, but I couldn't believe like just walking in and... Did you tell them that it was you when you would order?
Yes. Yes. So I would have...
I had to make sure.
Yeah. I still have a stack of bags and a stack of cups. And I got everything in my office. Like I got the Kellogg stand and...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just thinking about this room, like, and all the places that the sport took me, and just, it doesn't have to be, and it shouldn't be about that for the racers coming up. Yeah. But you need to have something. You need to have some goal, and like we were speaking about earlier, it's like nothing can compete with the belief that you have in yourself, or how you can hold your chest high. By accomplishing stuff in the sport that you worked hard for. It's, they say no sitting on the bench in this sport. Heck yeah, there's a bench in this sport. We got to sit on the bench because we're so tired from the training that we just did. But you can take it as far as you want. And that's why it's important to have the plan, to surround yourself with the right people, and to get lucky. It's you have to have some level of luck.
Well, that cut out a little bit, so that's about 30 minutes. So I'll ask about 2 or 3 more questions, which won't be nothing crazy, and we got some good music in the background. But yeah, so I don't know where that cut off, but if it cut off a little short, pretty much got to the point of what needed to be said. And like you said, there's goals that you got to set that usually are higher than most, just so you have something more to look forward to, because most of the time you will achieve your goals, so you always got to have something that's bigger. Let's go with, so I'm 23. I'm 2 years into my elite career, if we don't count COVID here, because we didn't race at all, one Graham's race. At my age, or headed to where I'm wanting to go, or even for anybody from 18 to this, just when you're at that age where you get to this Olympics, this Worlds, this and that, what's like 3 things or something that you wish you knew at my age, or like advice you would give someone my age going towards this stuff if you haven't already said it?
I would say keep going, because I believe that 25 is your prime in the sport.
That's crazy. A lot of Nick said 26, I think, if I remember.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
We spoke a lot before this just about stuff. I was like, man, we should record this stuff.
I know. That was like
yeah, but it's we're just discussing about, every generation like should be and is like faster than the one before, because you know the stuff that the other people knew later in life. Right? It's like if you're starting to train like you should train when you're 23, great. Well, the next generation going to do it at 21, and then at 18, and then 16. And there's a point where it becomes too young, right? It's you're going to burn yourself out before you even get to that potential. I don't think that there's anything that you don't already know, that you should know, that you can't then impart on to the people that are seeing you at the races now. It's just a wild ride, and I guess if you need to be like re-encouraged on things, it's like it just takes one moment, one good gate, and that all starts with one good training session or one good meal prior to the training session, prior to the race, prior to the gate, that you get that finish, that'll get you that spot, to World Championships or World Cup or funding. I don't regret much, if anything, of my journey. I did everything that I knew that I should do as soon as I could do it, and things happened when they should. I don't think there should be no forcing the future or stuff like that. I mean, it's just going to a World Championship at 8 years old is not going to make you an Olympian any more than starting that journey at 15.
Preach.
It's you need to do this because you love it. I think it's more important than ever for the incoming pros to understand that you got to get creative if you want to be making a living at this sport right now. Not to say that this is not going to change, because it's always ebbing and flowing, and it's ups and downs, just like the jumps on the track. But I think that there's not too many people giving up, but I think that there's too many people not believing that there's hope. And so they say, well, yeah, we're a collegiate sport now, but I'm not going to go to college for BMX, or that's not me, or whatever. I want to skip that and just try to go to the elite level. It's like, man, if you want to look at things, you can see things the way that you want, no matter what, just depending on what you're looking at. So if you want to think that you're never going to get to the Olympics, or that you're never going to be able to make a living, or that the sponsors are never going to be there, or you can't do it, like, fine, then you can believe that. But I think now more than ever, right? It's like you've got to be a brand. You've got to find any way possible to keep your stoke high, to keep that light at the end of the tunnel visible for you. And my dad always said, do what you love, and the money will come. And like I probably remember that at least like 4 times a year, even now. when you get into a zone where you think that things are hopeless or that things are going downhill, it's like, do what you love. If you love riding, if you love kids, if you love branding or merchandise or making music or whatever it is, like it all plays a part together. And the people who are the most creative, the most driven, will always find a way to make it work. And as long as you're involved, there's always hope. And as long as you're involved, you're still a part of the scene. You're able to continue racing, making an impact, and you'll finally be able to realize like why you're here, why you're doing it, what your calling was. Most everybody is selfish, right? So we're gonna say like, we want the money, or we want the sponsors, or we want the wins. We're doing this for ourselves, and that's fine. We have to be selfish, especially in this sport. But now, like growing older and maturing, it's not really about us. But it is about what we do and how we carry ourselves, and how people view us, and what, not necessarily what we look like, but our actions. Like who are we? And what lasting impact, if anything, are we going to leave on this sport? Because we all want to be accepted and remembered. We don't want to be forgotten. And everybody's different, and everybody's way of going about it is different. And so I'm lucky that I love beginners, and I found a way to finally learn how to speak where kids will still listen and parents will listen. And I'm able to bring, thousands of new kids into the sport who will probably never go to a national in their life or a state race in their life, but they will find extra fitness and family time and friends and acceptance. And who knows, like the road for them, like as long as they keep going, they can be whatever they want. And that's the cool thing to see about everybody. It's easier to see with younger kids, because I'm around them here like every week. Like you'll see them stick with it and finally get like that competitive edge that they never had before. They were chasing butterflies. They just like to ride. Like they want to go out and they want to. They hate getting third place now, type thing. So to see them evolve into what they're becoming, it's great. And to see the current crop of pros and the amateurs that are coming in that are hoping to replace the people that came before them. They should be better. They should be something different. They should add to the sport as a whole. The kids that are currently in the sport. So man, it's just everybody's different. Nobody knows what the future is going to hold. But one thing I can say for sure is don't give up one day too early, especially on the things that you love the most, because nothing in life, like you'll always find the struggle no matter what it is. If you find it in BMX racing, you're going to find it if you become a welder. It'll just look different, but it'll be the same opportunity. You'll have the opportunity to quit, or to say I'm not making enough money and I got to get to my boss and get a raise. Like it's all the same thing. And if we can learn that in BMX and succeed in it in BMX, or learn how we made mistakes and can fix it, it's absolutely priceless. You can't learn that stuff in college. Let's say that college is bad. To each their own. And I don't know that I'm going to regret things in the future that I didn't do in the past, but up until this point, I am pretty happy with how things unfolded, and I want to see what is next for you guys, for the people that were watching, the generation or two generations before them do on the track, and things are harder than ever, and so we don't want to lose the good people, the inspirations, the people that kids look up to, and will make them want to go out to the track to try something new because of what they've seen, because gosh darn it, they listen to us more than their parents all the time, and we've got the power over these kids, and that's why it's so important to be a role model. Not that we don't make mistakes, not that they're not going to make mistakes, but that is a very long-winded answer on just the overall, just what it could be about, what it should be about.
Yeah, I mean, I like hearing more than just a short answer, and the stuff you said is honestly, I'm probably gonna go home and watch it before I even post it, just to even hear most of the stuff again. And I mean, I've already taken it in, but all the stuff he's saying and everything is, it's experience from where I'm at, where I want to be, where you guys want to be, and those moments of the highs, the lows, the don't give up too early. Like, everything he's saying is pretty much the emotions we're gonna go through. I mean, it's not gonna be the easiest road, and especially now, like the levels everybody's just at the toppest level and blah blah blah. But the thing I'm trying to get across is the stuff that he is saying and everything that we're getting to at this point is honestly everything that I would want to hear. That if somebody was, I mean, I'm so bad at trying to explain that type of stuff, but that's the type of stuff that advice is, unless you've gone through it and you've done that situations or been through what obviously we want to do, some people's advice is going to be different. And everything he just said it's the realest truth. It's everything, and it's really cool to be able to sit right here. And I mean, even like he said, I was just a normal BMX kid. I just wanted to ride, and I mean, now I'm going up in the pro ranks, and to be able to even I was sitting on my couch like asking my friend, like, dude, should I really send this message? Like, and that's so funny to me because like it's so weird because I was like,
to me,
yeah,
you're asking him to...
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would like, and just that stuff, that like making my name for myself or being to where I'm at, and even like when you message me back, like, oh,
which was almost instant, by the way, because I live on Facebook.
No, it was. I saw him open it and I was like, oh, dude, now I can't unsend it. Like, but just like what I'm saying is, I would have never thought I would be. I mean, I definitely believed and dreamed, but I would have never thought of. I mean, those days that I didn't want to quit, or those days when I did quit but I came back, I would be where I'm at, the way I help the kids, and doing everything I do, and being able to sit, I mean, with Donny Robinson. I mean, a lot of you guys probably just hear the name and you think, oh yeah, but that's why
and even more of you don't even know who I am, so it's okay too.
And that's why I really wanted to do this, because I have a lot of the younger fan base. I have a lot of the next coming up generation, and these type of dudes, like, they're the role models that I looked up to, and that you guys still can look up to in that game. I call it game, the way he talks, like, that's what I call it. So if you guys don't know the lingo, that stuff is everything that is, like, I'm just disbelief. It's just so cool, and it's amazing that, I mean, the stuff that you've done, and just like you said, just from not giving up and keep going, and that's where I'm at, and that's what I want to do. And I know that this was all over the place. It's just stuff that I've talked and I just wanted to hear about, and there's probably more questions I would want to ask, but we've kind of been here for about 40 minutes and just got to drive back, and I don't want to keep him here all day. So he's still in his race gear.
But it's how much better did he do the second time, huh? So it's gonna get better and better. And the thing, so he messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, hey, I'm Anthony Picardo. I don't know if you know who I am. I race pro. And that's humble right there. Like, I told him, I laughed. I said, hey man, I remember back in the day where I would think that the pros didn't know me. Like, they knew me and I know you. And
now that was the coolest thing to read. I was like, oh no, this is it's just cool. And it's from me taking, I mean, obviously it's not like I'm trying to do something crazy, but me taking that chance, like, if it would be BMX, like taking that chance, going to those races, or just, and I just want to start a podcast, so I'm treating it like BMX. I want it to be good. I want to start off and do what I can, and just taking that opportunity, and now we're here, and now I want to keep growing. But if I would have never tried that, or even expanded to even, honestly, I was going to keep doing it by myself. And I was like, dude, I really want this type of like image for what I want to do, because I want you guys to know who he is. I want you guys to know who Kyle Bennett is. I want you guys to know who Mikey Day and all these people that literally are, I know they always say there's one GOAT, but I don't care. There's a lot of GOATs. Everyone throws that term around like it's like everything now. So yeah, I will get better. I will do more of these, and honestly, this will probably honestly go very well. I'm sure a lot of people are fans from the time when he was my age to even now, and then my fans. So I think this is going to be a really cool mixture, and you guys can watch, you can see the stuff he said, the stuff I asked, and you guys can even throw down more ideas on the bottom, all that type of stuff. And I don't think this is the last time I'll be in touch with Donny. I think he's a very cool dude, and I obviously have a lot of stuff that I can learn from him, and even just coming up to the league and seeing that type of stuff, I would be cool to stay in touch and just even get just like I call it free game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learn more about someone that's, like I say, a GOAT in our sport, and just literally listen to this. And if you're racing and you want to do these things, just know that this is probably some of the best stuff you will hear, because he's actually done it. It's not just some dude on the street that's just saying, hey, go pedal your bike and that's how you do it. He's done every single thing, the struggles, the like everything. So I just hope you guys enjoy. I really appreciate him. I don't have a very big, this is my second podcast, so for him to even be cool with being on something that it is nothing it's very, very, very cool, because somebody probably would have thought they were too good, and just the stuff that he has achieved, like someone like me just reaching out in a message like, you want to be on a podcast I just started last week, is
I got first place. I'm the first guest. I got first place, so it's my newest first place achievement. I'll take it. And so it was as much of an honor as it might have been for you, for me, because I see your game. I see everything that you're doing, and for him to come talk to my dream team today, to give them the hype and the psych pre-race, was something that I told them they did not want to miss. So I appreciate that. He's coming back, doing a clinic, because we need these riders to get the knowledge from the people, because maybe I'm just too old and I don't know it all, and some new stuff is coming in, and we need to see the new hotness, and Anthony Picardo is one of those. So I'm excited to see where you go, and I'm at the very least just going to be a fan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, and this isn't going to be my last one, and it's only going to get better. So I'll see you guys later, and thank you again. Thank you.